Hey babes, welcome to Stoned and Horny, the podcast all about exploring and expanding your knowledge in sex and cannabis with experts and friends. I'm your host, Hayley Herms, and today we're talking about productivity using cannabis, differences between CBD and THC, discrimination using cannabis, and smoking for beginners with our special guest, Sid.
Hey, y'all.
So we're just gonna get into it.
Sounds good. Let's
First
do it.
off, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I love your content. I love like how approachable you are. Like you really have a connection with your audience.
Thank you.
So I love that. It's not just like you're posting anything and everything. Like it's so mindful and purposeful.
you. I
Everything you
appreciate
post
that.
has purpose. So I
Yes.
love that.
Thank
And we're
you.
gonna get into later where you guys all can check her out, but we're just gonna dive in. So first things first, we're gonna talk about productivity using cannabis. So
Okay.
what is your personal experience? Are you like one of those people that has to like smoke before you do everything, or it just depends on the mood, or you're like, that's like your reward, I'm gonna get a bunch of high afterwards, or you're just kind of like doing it? What's your like productivity level?
Honestly, it really depends on the day.
Okay.
Because I can be either person. Lately, I'm trying to be the latter and use it as a reward and not,
Okay.
smoke before everything. It's not that I can't
Yes.
smoke before everything. It's just I want to look forward
To
to it,
something.
Like
Yeah.
just have something to look forward to at the end of my day, because my days have been a lot busier lately, and consuming before everything may not be the smartest choice just because of time crunches, and I'm
Yes.
trying to be mindful of my time management skills, which
Yes.
I'm not the best at.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it really depends, because
What's your favorite way
I
to
can do both.
smoke? Or you love it all?
I love it all, but I love to roll up. Like
Okay.
it's something,
And that
something
takes
special.
time,
It does.
you know?
Exactly.
That's what I get. Like,
Exactly.
it's a
Yeah.
time management thing. I was just talking to someone at a party, and they were like, I love to smoke backwoods, but I swear to God, they were like, I think I was spending like 3 hours a day rolling up because I
Yeah.
just so much enjoyed the process of like,
Yeah.
it's really like a therapeutic kind of
is.
experience.
It really
and like
is.
the joy of rolling up.
No, truly, and that's why I love to do it. But like you said, it's not the most time effective way to smoke, and so that's why I'm trying to push it to the end of my day so I can look forward to that and enjoy it and take my time, because
Yes.
it's like a ritual.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And do you also think it depends on the strain?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm the type of person where the strains affect me in the traditional way.
Yes.
So, sativa is really uplifting. Indica is more of the downtime kind of strain. So during the day, I gotta smoke a sativa or like a sativa hybrid. If I'm smoking indica, then I might spend a little bit too much time on the couch scrolling on TikTok,
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's my dangerous thing is I am like not a sativa girl whatsoever.
Okay.
And like if I'm ever smoking a sativa, it's most likely going to be like a vape sativa.
Okay.
And it's because I'm being active during the day. But for the most part, like I always have an indica. Just like know if you're ever smoking with me, like we are most like 99.9% of the time going to be smoking on an indica. And so like but I think so with me too, it depends on like the strain because I'm smoking indicas all day. So
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm really trying to learn what is my like this is enough for me,
right.
because like, I've been a huge stoner for a while, but now my schedule is getting so busy. I'm running the show, a blog, modeling,
Right,
all
it's a
this stuff,
lot.
and you're running several brands, which we're gonna
Yes.
get into her amazing brands in a little bit. But you're running so many brands, it's like, okay, what's that like? This is enough to get me active and going, even despite the strain. Maybe it's a little less when you're doing sativa, or
Right.
maybe a little more, depending. But I definitely think I'm trying to like, I don't know if I could do the reward thing, because one of the reasons why I use THC is because of my ADHD. I'm like,
I got
but
you.
I
That
will
makes
say, one of the benefits of ADHD is you kind of like remember more things.
True.
So like when my anxiety's down though, I might let something slip. So I've been experimenting lately.
Okay.
But with that said, we're going to see what some of the viewers said because we love talking to our
Yes,
viewers.
please. Let's see what the
And I
audience
asked
says.
them, productivity. Are you doing it before, after, all that fun stuff? People said both. Sometimes the cannabis is what I need to slow my mind down to get rest, to be productive. Otherwise, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
So totally relate to that. And then someone said something like what you said. It depends on the intention I'm setting for my sesh.
True.
And again, love that. The intention, having a purpose and not just like smoking to smoke because you're like,
Right.
addicted to the like we said, having the ritual of rolling up.
Exactly.
Another person said both. Sometimes I just need to chill the fuck out, and other times I need to focus and chill out. And then another person said definitely more productive and less anxious. Another person said depends. We have a lot of, again, depends on what they're doing, but then we also had a lot of the same response of it really depends on the strain.
Right.
And then someone said, to be honest, more unless the goal is to be unproductive. Someone else said it makes them more productive. So they're definitely seshing and
before anything and
before
everything.
anything and
I
everything.
feel that and I respect that.
Which, I was going to be honest, I thought we were going to have more people respond and be like
that?
I got to sesh before everything.
Before this meal, before the gym,
the mall,
before everything.
the grocery store, walking my dog.
I can't lie. I do love to smoke before the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
It's something special about
Is that trouble for you? I think when I smoke before, I have more like strength. Like,
for me, it's
you're giving in.
It's definitely both, but
Okay.
I will indulge when I'm lit at the grocery store, and I kind of don't mind that sometimes because I'm very disciplined in most areas of my life.
Yes.
And so to kind of like just treat myself a little bit and to these cookies or whatever I want that I might not usually get.
Yes.
It's kind of nice sometimes.
So I decided I lied a little bit. I forgot. When I am dabbing, I will go to the store and treat myself.
Okay, yeah.
I will be like,
yeah.
there's this like one like sandwich, and I'm kind of PMSing right now, so maybe that's why it's on my mind. But there's like this one cookie chocolate sandwich. Half of it's dipped in chocolate, and the other half's not.
Great.
And like if I'm dabbing, I'm gonna get me one of those. Maybe the Godiva things. Like, ooh, just like something rich. That's my thing. So I gotta be careful if I dab before the grocery store. But if I'm just smoking, I'm pretty good about my choices and
That's
not like.
good.
But like because I live alone, things just spoil so easily. So but ice cream doesn't usually spoil.
Right. Ice cream stays good for a long time.
Yes. And then lastly, a couple more people just said they're usually smoking more, and then depends on the time, the days, the schedules, and the snacks.
Yeah.
So we love that. And then let's see. Depends on the strain. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's pretty much our consensus. Was the biggest answer was both, but it depends on the strain. And then we had a couple OG stoners that are like, I'm sticking to my guns. With that said, recently I saw a post, and I think you worked with a brand that was like a CBD marijuana, or like it looked like you could smoke CBD, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Besides vape form, I've never seen that before. So
Really?
Do you have a lot of experience with CBD and THC? Do you like both?
I do. I love CBD. I've been a CBD advocate for years since I started as a bud tender, like in 2017. I've always loved CBD.
And what's your favorite way to consume it?
I love a good tincture, like a really good CBD tincture.
Interesting. You're the first person I've ever heard say that.
Really?
I'm a big lotion. I love like those things that you roll on. Yeah, the topicals.
Okay,
love those. And then I like to smoke a little like vape CBD, but I've never heard anyone be like, I love me a tincture.
I see, and I like the tinctures that still have a little bit of THC in them.
Okay.
Because those definitely tend to work better than like just a straight hemp CBD tincture. So if it has, let's say, a balance of like 18-1 with a high CBD, low THC ratio, that's great for pain relief, insomnia.
And like how many drops are you doing?
I do either like half of a dropper or like a full dropper. It just kind of depends. I usually start taking it about a week before my period comes, and that definitely helps with like the pain and like the inflammation just in my body. Yeah.
Smart.
Yes.
Do you have a couple favorite brands you can recommend?
Right now I'm using, it's called Chemistry.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah, I think they're Try Chemistry on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And they have a range of different ratios of CBD and THC products. But I have the 18-to-1 right now, and it's been great.
It's been beautiful. Okay. And like, how does it work when you're smoking it? Like, okay, so I saw, like, back to that for a second. Is it like, does it have THC in it too, or is it just like like it looked like weed
depends.
though.
It totally depends.
Okay.
Like, 'cause there's, like I said, there is the hemp CBD, which is, the legal CBD, which you can find pretty much everywhere.
Yes.
Like anyone can sell hemp CBD. Like I sell hemp CBD products,
Yes.
You don't need a license for that. But then there's the CBD THC ratio, which is a little bit different because it's from the cannabis plant and not the hemp plant.
Okay.
And so you still get traces of THC in those CBD plants. And so those are the ones where you'll find them in dispensaries, and it'll be like the flower I got was a 2-to-1.
Okay.
So it was, I can't remember if it was a high CBD or a high THC. I'm gonna say it was a high CBD strain. It was a 2-to-1. But because there was still quite a bit of THC in it, you got a small high from it.
Okay. And so what is that when you smoke CBD like that? What does that feel like? A high or no high, or just like so mild?
It's super mild. It's like, when you take like the first like hit of a joint and it's like you kind of get lit, but you're not lit yet.
Yes.
It's like you kind of stay there.
Okay.
It's super mild, really functional. So like if you wanted to,
I saw you were doing yoga and everything.
No, it's super functional, and it's great for, if you have anxiety, which I do.
I have really bad anxiety.
Yeah, so things like that are really nice because sometimes a little bit too much THC can really get my heart racing, but that CBD just levels me out. And
so would
I'm
you
calm.
say, like, for someone like me that has like anxiety as well, if I were like, because I'm trying to get more into CBD, I know it works wonders. I love the topicals, and like I work out, I know you work out, you got a fitness journey, so that's why I really like the topicals. But now I've just heard so many other people talking about the other benefits, like things for anxiety. So if I were to pick a CBD product for that, would you still recommend the tinctures, or do you think one of the 2-to-1 products would be better?
Honestly, I recommend you trying them all for yourself, and you see what works for you.
Good
because
answer.
because it's everyone's different. I like tinctures and the flower, but other people might just solely like topicals, or the CBD like edibles that they have. Because there's so many different forms of CBD these days.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so the tincture's your favorite, and then what are your other top twos?
Definitely the flower.
Okay.
Like the one I had on my Instagram video that you saw. And then I love topicals as well.
Okay.
Because as you mentioned, I work out, and so my body is
What's your favorite
sore.
topicals?
Probably Papa and Barkley.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, their
Yes.
oil.
Yes.
The oil.
Yes,
Yo.
I have some of that at
Even
home
if
right
I
now.
don't want to use it for like a purpose thing, like to go out, the oil, you're shining.
You're
and I don't feel like
moisturized.
it's transferring onto things
Exactly,
either.
yeah.
I have to agree. I'm gonna definitely agree. Papa
Yes.
Barkley, the
Yes.
CBD oil for the win.
And they have a good bath soak too.
Oh, a bath soap? Oh my god, I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yes.
Is it like brick form, or
It's
like
a soak.
A soak.
Yeah, so it's like almost like Epsom salts.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love a good bath. I didn't know that. Is it new?
No, I tried that like, man,
That
years
was one of
ago.
your first.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Well, I'm late then. Okay. I'm late on that. I'm going to get on that.
Yes, please do, because it's a miracle after a long week of workouts.
And like, okay, I should have asked you first, but like for those listening, what would you describe? What's the difference between, besides like the legalities of it all, what's the big differences between CBD and THC?
To keep it basic and simple, one is psychoactive and one is not. I will say CBD can be slightly psychoactive, but it's never going to get you lit like THC will.
Okay.
And even though some people say like, oh, CBD is the more medicinal, you know, cannabinoid or whatever, that's not really true. THC is just as medicinal. There's just different properties. And the main one is going to get you high and one isn't.
Yeah.
You know, one I'd give my parents, one I would not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So even your parents love CBD.
They do topicals.
Okay.
My dad is a huge fan of Papa and Barkley.
My grandma used to like CBD topicals, and I remember like she was very apprehensive because she like, you know, she didn't know if we were like trying to trick her.
Right. Like, it's going to get me high.
Yeah. Have you ever seen your parents high?
No.
Okay.
I want to get them high so bad one day.
And just, okay.
One day.
On purpose, like without them knowing, or they
Oh,
know?
no, on purpose. I
Okay.
could never do that without my parents' permission. Oh, Jesus. That'd be so
Okay.
bad.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. Grandma Nancy, now that you're passed away and you're in heaven looking down.
What did she do to Grandma Nancy? Oh, my God.
No! I gave her a 5 milligram edible once. Just 5. And I just like a gummy.
That's a lot for somebody like that doesn't consume cannabis.
5 milligrams?
Yes.
Really?
For someone that doesn't consume cannabis at all? Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, it was just 5 and I could tell it didn't last for more than like an hour. So like
thank God.
the first, I know. I texted my brother and I said, I'm going to hell. And like, maybe. Because the first like 30 minutes, she was so anxious. Like I could tell. And ironically, I gave it to her because I wanted to see if it would help with her anxiety. And, but like just like 30 minutes, like I really like watched her. I wasn't going to like throw it on her and leave, you know?
Right.
And then like after like 30 minutes, all of a sudden, like it was like a switch. Like for the last 45 minutes, she's like, oh, look at that horse. Like on the TV, she's like, it's beautiful. And like, she really like, it wasn't extreme, but you could tell she was feeling good.
goodness.
She's like that Taylor Swift. Like she was like, you know, she was
was
buzzing a
feeling
little
it.
bit. Yeah.
Not your grandma.
So, but I
Oh my
never did it again.
gosh.
I felt really bad. I never told her. I told my brother and probably like a best friend.
When I just told a lot more people.
I know.
Been
I was just
terrible.
eating these gummies and she was like, what are those? And I was like, a
Here,
light went
have
off in
one.
my head. And I was like, here. And I gave her one.
See, that's something that I would do, but I would definitely be like, this is cannabis. Here.
Maybe I should have just told her
like,
afterwards,
try
at
it.
least. I should have told her before, but maybe I should have just said something.
You could have told her like after she had swallowed it.
Okay.
By the way, that had
Well,
like,
then
a
she
little bit of weed
after
in
that
it.
she started drinking like Jack Daniels. Like
Oh.
she was. I think she was feeling okay.
Oh, she was lit.
Yeah, she wanted a drink. She
was
asked me to pour her
lit.
is it Jack Daniels? She wanted scotch. It was a scotch. She's like, give me
Oh.
some scotch on the rocks. Like,
Ooh,
I think
okay.
Grandma was feeling herself a
I
little
think
bit.
she was-
just a
yeah,
little bit.
okay,
but like
that-
I said, do not try that at home. Like warning.
Always ask for consent.
Always ask for consent. It's important. Don't be me. But on that note, you touched on that you used to work in the dispensaries.
I
And you
did.
used to be like one of like in front of the games.
Yes.
And so one of the things I want to talk about is discrimination of cannabis in all sorts. We're seeing like Amazon, for example, they recently just took off weed now from their drug test. You can smoke weed at Amazon. You know, they're probably doing that because they can't find workers. But anyways, but regardless, they took that off. And I remember I had an ex-boyfriend who wanted a job at Amazon. And I remember he had a drug test. And it's just so hard for me to like get on board with that because there's so many people that need cannabis daily for like real issues. That is a
Right.
medication. And you
Right.
wouldn't just tell like a bipolar person like, hey, stop your medication so you can get this job so you can afford to live.
Right.
Well, how am I going to afford to live if I might be dead? Like, you know?
Exactly. Right.
So, but it also comes in other like discriminations. Like we saw on the red carpet, like a few years ago, Zendaya was wearing locks and one of the interviewers associated it with cannabis and
Right.
Rasta in Jamaica. So
Right.
there's so
That's-
much
yeah.
different discrimination. family
Truly.
members that are
Yeah.
like, oh my, like that she's gonna grow up to be a drug addict and on the streets, you know. So have you faced any of those realms, whether it was as a bud tender, as a businesswoman, like? Can you, and like just, and on top of it, let's just say it, you're a woman of color. And so that like it doubles down there.
Yes,
And
it
people need to know what they can do to make things right, no matter
Right.
what form of discrimination.
Right.
Because I think if we don't talk about it, how is it ever gonna be
get
fixed?
Exactly.
So if you don't
exactly.
mind sharing, what are some, if you have faced it before?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Especially as a Black woman, I've definitely faced it. It actually took me a really long time just to get my job as a bud tender. And it didn't really hit me that race might have been a factor until when I got my job and I realized that pretty much everyone working there was a person of color. And the management were people of color. And the owners, people of color. You know, like it was
intentional.
Yes, extremely intentional. And I had to reflect back on the different shops I'd been applying to, and pretty much the majority of them were either white-owned spaces, Armenian-owned spaces, just spaces where I was not necessarily welcomed, and the bud tenders that worked there definitely did not look like me. Like I didn't see not one person that even slightly resembled someone that looked like me. And that's like when it hit me, I'm like, wow, I didn't get the job because I was a Black woman. That's crazy. Like that's wild, you know? And it doesn't matter that I have all this knowledge or this passion for this plant. Like they just wanted someone that was gonna look the part that they wanted.
They'll
know?
hire hot people that don't smoke weed.
Exactly.
And like I hate that. I feel like you can always tell when a bud tender can't smoke weed.
Always.
But maybe it's just because like we've both sold cannabis. So like you get the if your bud tender ever tells you like, oh, this is what everybody's getting right now or something, it's because they personally don't know.
They don't know.
They'll be like, this has been really popular, or this or that. It's never like, I tried this. I took this home the other day.
Right.
And so like definitely, and it's all just for like aesthetics. But
Truly.
so, so you've definitely faced it as a bud tender.
Oh yeah, and even now as a content creator, you know, with working with different brands, they'll definitely try to bargain or negotiate with me in terms of my rates, but they'll pay people who I know personally who are a different skin color than myself. They won't even argue. It's like, here's the rates. They're like, oh, cool, there you go. But with me, it's like, well, can we just send you some product? And I'm like,
why?
bro, I've been doing this for so long, and at this point, it's disrespectful. And the fact that I'm not the only one that deals with it, pretty much every other Black POC content creator that I know has dealt with something of the sort. Like, no one wants to pay us what we're worth. No one wants to actually invest in us, even though they take from us constantly, which is extremely irritating. But it's like, what more can we do? You know, and that's why I think you see a lot of us starting to shift away from the industry in a, not completely, but just kind of putting it on the back burner.
Or starting your own brand.
Exactly. Or starting our own brand, or just focusing our energy elsewhere where we're actually going to reap the benefits of our labor.
Exactly.
We're not getting paid what we're worth right now.
Exactly. And I agree with everything you said. It's so crazy. I'm not a woman of color, but as a fat bodied woman, I, for a long time, was applying for bud tender jobs. I'm like, why am I not getting it? Why am I not getting it? But I knew consciously that like, I'm like, it's probably because I'm fat. And you'd go into these bud shops and it'd be all like the thinner girls with the big boobs. And like, so then finally, if you are a viewer in this show, or if you're new here, I used to work for the Asian Mafia at one point, trapping for them.
Oh, wow.
And so I had a friend who worked for them, and just like, she just kind of like really vouched for me and was like, you don't know, like this girl is a hustler, this, that, the third.
Right.
So then when I started broken through them and was like working at the trap shops and things like that, women would literally come up to me and be like, I've never seen a fat woman bud tender. And like just seeing that, like they were so happy or so thrilled, or like customers that really didn't talk or were like super intimidated were now like expressing their needs, or like pulling me to the side because they felt comfortable, because they finally felt like there was someone they could relate to that was
other, or someone that was different in the shop.
That wasn't typical. And so I've definitely I've seen it, whether you're fat, whether you're disabled, whether you're a person of color, and it's just like not right. I think we're slowly, like many things, we're slowly making a difference. We're definitely not there yet. We have a long way to go. It's come a long way because of the internet, but now that we have the internet and things like this platform and our own business and brands, it's important to recognize that now not those brands and those shops don't hold all the power. And as laws and rules are changing, it's important that we keep speaking up and like saying like, here's the trouble and here's how we can change it. And I know so many cannabis brands that are rebranding right now because they realize like, wow, hot girls smoking weed in bikinis isn't going to sell everyone weed.
It's sure
like,
is
and
not. That time has passed, babes.
Exactly. And I think about that. A majority of women in America alone on average are a size 18, or now we're seeing by like, I think it's 2050 that most people will be of some mixed descent. And it's like, that is the future. There's no stopping it. And you are going to just crash and burn if, first of all, if you're not already trying to be inclusive, then you probably should just like take a deep dive. Do you have internal racism, internal homophobia,
literally
internal fat phobia?
Therapy, something.
You should really like take a look at your brand. I remember I showed up to a makeup brand once as like giving them a consultation of like what I thought as like a content creator. And I said, look, like I love now, because, you know, Fenty's paving a way for all like shade tones of all brands. And I said, I love that you guys have this racial diversity. I was like, but there's no body diversity. And I'm like, Black women have rolls, Indian women have cellulite, Hispanic women have stretch marks. Like where it doesn't matter. Now we got to include like everyone. And now I love that we're seeing like people who are disabled and autistic, and we're getting there. But anyways, not to go too far off the thing, but definitely I wanted like the viewers to know that it's 2022 and there's still discrimination in cannabis happening. And we've really rode the backs off of people of color to help create all the industries, no matter if it's cannabis, music, sexual wellness, whatever it is. So I thank you so much for speaking on that and sharing those stories, because they need to be heard, they need to be changed. And if you're listening to this and you're a cannabis brand owner, really something to consider. Look at your staff, look at you. Is there not only is there men, is there women, is there women of color, are there people of different backgrounds, you know, including more people into the conversation, not only, you know, looks wise make you look better, but it'll make you understand your audience better and increase your audience, if anything, because now they're feeling like they're being seen and heard, and no one should be in the shadows. It's 2022, bitches. So
do better.
Do better. And that's one more thing before we switch to the next topic I want to say is, because I do agree they're not paying women of color, and a few of my cannabis content creator friends that are women of color, I always try to tell them like what I'm charging, what I'm making. I think it's so important that we talk about those conversations.
Definitely got to have those conversations.
And not to be confrontational. It's never to like hurt someone's feelings. Obviously I would never do it if it's like on set or something like that, but separately, just casually, if it can come up, just knowing, because I did talk to a woman of color once who had like 3 times my engagement, was getting paid 1/3 what I was. And I have a friend, another woman of color, where now I help manage her, but we pretend there's like a white woman behind the board so that she can get paid more. So it's really sad that has to happen again in 2022. So cannabis brands, I look forward to seeing you making a difference very soon and paying lovely content creators, especially content creators of color, what they're worth. But in saying that, not only is she a content creator, she is a brand owner, like we mentioned multiple times. Sid has a brand called Medicated Melanin. And then, so I see you guys have the lip gloss.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us, is that the first product? Are you expanding? Like, what's going on with Medicated Melanin?
Man, that has been a journey.
Okay.
And let me just say that started off as like my little quarantine project / experiment, you know?
So it's kind of, but in theory, like it's a toddler now.
It is.
This is not brand new.
It is.
Okay.
But it definitely does still feel brand new because it's been just on the back burner because life, and I honestly didn't even expect it to be a thing. Like I said, it was a little experiment. I'm like, let me just see if I can sell something.
What like got that like like random just spark or like?
Yeah, I was, sitting at home like everyone else in 2020, really bored one night and just thinking about just my current situation and just the current situation of the world. And I was thinking to myself, like, what is something I can just start right now that I can make some money off of, that can be mine? And, it's my business. Like, I'll always have that. If I ever, just need money or whatever, I have this business that I can, just go into and create. And yeah, that's kind of how it started.
And did you know you wanted it to be like CBD cannabis related, or were you just like, I'm really into beauty?
I knew I wanted to be cannabis related. So the whole thing is definitely mainly cannabis related. And the lip gloss came to be because I was on YouTube one night looking up like easy businesses to start. And I saw a bunch of girls doing lip gloss. And I'm like, this seems so fun, so easy. I did research on the ingredients, all that good stuff. And I thought to myself, okay, like what can make my product just stand out? And so I'm like, let me add some CBD to it, because I feel like that'll make it not only a great product, but it's something different, and it's in alignment with who I am. And so I just said, fuck it, and ordered a bunch of tubes from China, all the packaging, ingredients, everything. I designed the logo myself on Canva, like just did everything myself in the wee hours of the night, because I was talking to people in China, so at 3
you gotta be on their time.
Exactly. So I'm up at like 2-3 a.m. talking to vendors, just getting my orders together. And yeah, it was really just, let me see if I can do this. Like I think I invested, it was a little under 2,000. It was $1857 that I invested, $1,857 that I invested into the entire business. And I'm like, let me just break even and make profit. I'll be happy. That means the experiment was successful.
Okay.
And the first day I broke even and started making profit.
Shut up.
The first day.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah, that was definitely the affirmation I needed, that I'm like, okay, I can do this.
I love that. I almost want to cry right now. That's beautiful.
Thank
Oh my
you.
God.
Yeah, it was great. But like soon after that, shit got tough.
Okay.
Because then
hard to keep the orders up.
Not even that. I had to get a whole new payment processor because it's a CBD product and it's like a high risk payment situation. So Shopify like shut down my shop for like some months. It was
7 months?
It was like 6 months. I got shut down. It was really bad. It was so annoying. And I just kept trying to appeal and find different processors. And like I got like the Shopify CBD, and like that for some reason didn't work. And because my documents, it was just so much stuff that I had no idea that I had to deal with as a business owner. And I was not prepared for. Just threw me for a complete loop. And then one person reached out to me from a processing portal, whatever, company. And he was like, hey, I have this service. It costs a little bit more, but you'll be secure. And I'm like, all right, send me like the information. I looked at the information. It was definitely going to cost me a lot more, but it was secure. And a lot of other CBD owners have like used like the same processor. So
did you reach out to them and be did you? Okay.
I did. And so I went ahead, I got it, and I was finally able to start selling my gloss again June of 2021, and I launched in November of 2020.
Okay.
So I couldn't sell any product until June of 2021. And that definitely just kind of put
A damper
on
things.
on everything. And I tried to get back to the drawing board earlier this year, you know, for some more things that I want to bring to fruition, which is definitely going to happen. I just have a lot of other things on my plate that need my attention right now.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm trying to do better at time management.
Yes.
And I have to learn how to focus on one thing at a time. Because
Yeah.
in the past, I would have juggled every single thing and just burnt myself out completely.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not doing that anymore. We are trying to have a soft life, or a softer life.
Yeah.
You know,
same.
and just really, what's the word I'm looking for? Not maximize, but
Is like work smarter, not harder.
no, I want to make self-care a priority. There we go. I was like, what is the word? Prioritize. I am prioritizing self-care a lot more and just taking more rest days because I need it, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot of other people do. We move around so much, and 8 hours of sleep a night is just, it's not enough to rejuvenate.
Okay.
It's not enough.
Really? It's not.
Like it's enough to rejuvenate for the next day, but to really get that proper rest that your mind,
Reset.
body, soul needs, I need a day just to relax. You know?
I feel like I sleep better. Even it could be like 8 hours, but it depends. Like, is the alarm waking me up, or am I naturally waking up?
I feel that.
feel so much more rested,
Without
even
an
if
alarm.
yeah, without the alarm. Just knowing like there's not somewhere for me to be in the morning,
Right,
Unless
right.
it's like somewhere I'm really excited. Like on podcast days, I wake up, I'm like, oh, it's Christmas.
Right.
I'm gonna like fun, right? But not every day is a podcast filming day,
Right.
So, you know, and it's more like when you do work like that we do, it's something that has to be like, no one is going to wake you up, and there's no office for you to take your ass down to, no one to hold you accountable, no desk partner to talk shit with. You are your own desk partner.
Right, exactly.
So it definitely takes like a different kind of strength to do that. So are the lip glosses on pause right now, or can people go buy them right now?
People can still go buy them. I have about 100 left.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would say
Run.
we
And the holidays are coming up, you guys. By the time this
Yes.
episode comes out, it's going to be like mid-October, beginning of November.
Yes.
And you know, you get it before Black Friday.
Literally,
And their
because
madness.
Once they're gone for a little bit. It's gonna take some months for them to come back. Because like I said, I have a new project that I'm really focused on right now that I
Can
have
you
to
talk about it or not?
Of course.
Okay.
But yeah, I got to give that all my attention. So pivoting onto that,
Yeah.
as we all know, I've been on my fitness game. You feel me? See the muscles?
Yes. And if you are listening to this and you can't see us, you can go to YouTube and find the episode. You'll see us in
Yes.
person, and you'll be able to not only see her beautiful face, but these amazing guns, baby.
You feel me? Yes.
Holy shit.
So, yeah.
It's giving Madonna like 2010 like
Thank
top
you.
tier shape right now.
Thank you. So,
Janet,
yeah. You
yes.
feel me? So yeah, I've been on just my fitness journey lately. Fitness has always been a thing for me. I was an athlete growing up, played basketball, ran track, literally up until college. The only reason I didn't play in college was because of injuries. And so, you know, being active has always been a thing for me. And this year I decided that I needed a profitable skill.
Okay.
And not something in tech like everyone is, you know, telling everyone to do, because
Right?
I am not tech brained at all. And so I decided to become a personal trainer.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm like, it just made sense. Like, I've been working out for so long. So many people have asked for tips, for help. And the gym I'm training at now, it's a private owned gym. It's mainly like powerlifting, bodybuilding, like, you know, really serious people.
Do you consider yourself like a power lifter, bodybuilder?
I'm actually joining the powerlifting team. Yeah.
Shut
so I'm going to start
up.
powerlifting.
Yes.
About to get these gains. you
Tiny
feel
but
me?
mighty.
Yes, very much that.
Because I would like, you're walking down the street, I would never be like, that girl's a power lifter. And then you took out your guns, and I was like, this
yeah.
girl is going to fly like Superwoman.
Yes, so I just got my certification last week. So yeah, I just got certified to be a personal trainer, and I will be training at the private gym. But I can train other places as well. So if you need some personal training, anybody, hit me
Angeles
up.
area.
I got you. Los Angeles, the Valley area.
Would you do virtual trainings?
Yes, definitely. I want to get like a whole like online class going. Probably definitely 2023, like the start of the year. I'll have all that stuff ready to go.
And I love that because you're into CBD and THC, you know, recovery things to recommend.
Exactly. I'm definitely going to be recommending all that stuff to my clients. So I'm excited.
A canna-friendly trainer.
Yes.
We love that.
Yes.
On the last note, I want to ask you just some tips and tricks. So for people, because like we said, you're an OG. Yes. Okay? So OG stoner to baby stoners. What are some just some quick tips, recommendations you might have? Smoking away, starting to smoke.
Let's see. Starting to smoke. When you go to the shops, ask to smell the bud. Don't go based off of THC percentage because that's bullshit. Go based off of smell and the look of it. Okay. Whatever is more appealing to you, more than likely your body's going to like it. Okay. So if it smells good, it looks good, try it out.
Intuition.
Definitely. Don't be a THC hunter. Please do not. Also, take it slow with the edibles, please. That
was my advice was going to be like, don't.
Yeah, please take it slow with the edibles. I myself have fucked up. I'm sure you probably have as well. I think all of us have at some point. So if someone tells you, do not eat the whole thing, Don't eat the whole thing. Just don't do it. Listen.
Okay, real quick, we do have time. What's the worst edible story that you've ever had?
Oh, jeez. Probably the first time I ever had an edible when I was...
It was the first time? Yeah, that was the worst time?
Okay. I was a freshman in college. Yeah. And it wasn't like... I don't know, it was pretty bad.
Were you by yourself?
No. So I was in my dorm with my roommate. We're getting ready to go out. And I had just got like a little Reese's cup from one of my friends. And this friend... is from the Bay. And if you know about like Bay Area cannabis and cannabis products, especially back in those days, this is like 2013, 2014. Things were not regulated and they were very strong. Very strong. Like literally you opened up the package and you could smell the cannabis, even though it's like chocolate and peanut butter. Yeah. And so he warned me. He was like, this is very strong. Just eat a little bit at a time. And so I did that. At least I thought I did. I took half of it. I like just took a bite, ate half of it. And right after I was done getting ready, about 45 minutes to an hour later, I started to feel a little something. I'm like, okay, my body feels a little weird. And I started to get kind of hot. And I'm like, I don't know. And so I'm like already dressed to go out. Like I'm ready to go. And I'm like, I'm just going to lay down for a little bit. I tell my roommate, I'm like, hey, like, let me know when, it's time to go. I'll be ready. Oh, no. I was not. As soon as maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, she's like, all right, Uber's downstairs. You ready? And I'm like, you're going to have to go without me, bro. I'm just laying on the bed, just done.
Were you petrified or just tired or panicked?
I was just stuck. It was like I couldn't move. It was like I could not move my body.
Were you scared?
Not even. It was just like I'm calm, but I'm like,
I can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere.
Peace out.
I'll see y'all when you get back, and
that's what happened.
Literally, she left the lights on, and I'm pretty sure, I guess I fell asleep. I don't know, because next thing I know, they're coming home with food, and they're like, yo, you're still in the same spot, in the same clothes, like you haven't moved this whole time, and I would just raised up, and I was like, I guess not. I guess I've been here the entire time. And
was it like 8 hours and you thought it'd been like 30 minutes?
It was about 3 hours they were gone. Yeah. So like they left like around, it was like midnight or something, came back like 3 a.m.
And you're like still
just but I guess I had fallen asleep because it didn't feel like
3 hours.
Not at all.
I love that for you. Yeah. The worst time for me was probably I took 100 milligram edible. And I was like, I'm going to go to Costco. And I went to Costco and I was waiting in line for my pizza. And all of a sudden I was like, I think like I'm going to pass out. And I was like, I felt really sick. And I literally just got on the ground. Like, just like, I was like, I have to sit. Yeah. And if you know Costco,
they got
it's
the concrete. Yeah.
And
nice cold concrete.
Yeah. And so I just like sit down, like crisscross applesauce. And I was like, okay, I'm going to survive. Like and then all of a sudden I just passed out on the floor. like on the concrete floor, and I woke up and there were like 2 Costco people like trying to like, they're like waking me up or whatever. And I was like, huh? And I was like, can you get me like a bag? Like I thought I was going to throw up. They bring me like, of course, a cardboard box because it's Costco. And I threw up in the cardboard box, and they're looking at me and my eyes are like, not even bloodshot. Like it looks like the devil has entered my eyes, and they thought I was drunk. Like they thought I was like hammered coming into Costco and shopping.
Gosh.
And so they kept trying to get me there because they wanted to call the police and an ambulance. And they kept trying to like make me. I was like, no, I'm going to be okay. And they're like, we're just going to go get you water and we'll be right back. And so like when no one was looking at me and like I looked around, I just ran the fuck out of the store. And I went in my car and I just went and I slept in there for like 2 hours. And but I was like, no way. Because they definitely thought I was drunk. Yeah, they thought I was fucked up, like a drunk ass bitch coming to Costco. But like, I just... So no edibles for beginners or like 5 milligrams. Take it Grandma Nancy style.
Yes, no, please do. That would make me reconsider taking edibles ever again.
Yes. Okay. And like a third tip. What's the third tip for smokers for beginners?
Third tip. Let's see. Learn how to roll your own joints or blunts, whatever you prefer to smoke. You don't have to, but it is a nice skill to have.
As someone who relies on a roller for all my joints, I can definitely say this. You know, I'm not walking the walk, but but I definitely think you should take her advice.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how to roll until 2020 during quarantine. Another quarantine
That's
project.
a good skill to have.
Yeah, I mean, I knew how to roll blunts, but I could not roll a joint to save my life.
Okay.
And I don't like blunts. I love joints, and so I'm like, I have to learn how to roll joints. It doesn't make sense. I love them so much, and I can't roll them. Like, yeah. What's wrong with me?
Do what you love.
You know, exactly. And it's been a great skill to have. So.
I love that for you. Well, we are concluding, and before we do our outro, I want to know, where can everyone find you? Plug anything and everything.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, pretty much all socials at _shades of Sid. You can find my lip gloss at medicatedmelanin.com. Instagram is the same, Medicated Melanin, but really just to tap in with me, Shades of Sid.
And Sid has a Y, right?
Yes, okay. SYD.
There we go. Mm-hmm. Get it right, people.
That's right.
That concludes today's episode of Stoned and Horny. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, if you want a chance to join the conversation, to follow us on Instagram at Stoned and Horny Podcast and leave a comment. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials to stay updated with Stoned and Horny news. My name is Hayley Herms, and I'll see you on next week's episode.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.